Hello everyone and welcome back to Boulder Cove. This is episode 6 and in this episode we are finally going to work on getting some power and water into this region. We do so by building a nuclear power plant and a water treatment facility right near Norton, which is a small town that we've been working on lately. But before we get into the time-lapse, I just want to show you what I have done between episodes. And I think this is something that I'll continue doing in future episodes, just finishing up some areas and showing you what I did at the start of the next episode, through some cinematic shots just like this. I spoke about it in the last episode, I believe, that I wanted to have some farms around this area, because it looked pretty empty on this side of the highway. And if you have empty areas around your city in Cities Skylines, and you don't really know what to do with them, then I heavily recommend that you build some farms, just like I did here. Not using actual farm assets from the industry DLCs, just creating some natural looking roads and then using the natural resource brush that is included in the extra landscaping tools mod by Bloody Penguin, and use that brush to sort of fill in the blank spaces between those roads and paths, and it sort of looks like real pastures and fields surrounding your cities. It looks really good and it's a great way to fill in a huge area on your map. And this only took me just a couple of minutes. And I also removed a decent amount of trees in this area, which actually helps me boost my frame rate just a little bit, but you know, everything helps. So I will be using this technique forward throughout the series, as Boulder Cove is very much a region with a lot of farms, a lot of forests, rivers and mountains. So yeah, it all comes natural and it's very much realistic. But enough about farms, let's talk about what we're building in this episode. As I said earlier, we are building a nuclear power plant and a water treatment facility. This will hopefully give power and water to all of Boulder Cove. Maybe when we expand and get bigger cities in this map, maybe then we need another source of power and water, but for now it's more than enough. It's actually so much that I don't really need to think about electricity or water for many episodes to come. So yeah, happy that we got that out of the way. The power plant is located near Norton, the small town that we finished in the last episode. If you want to see that episode and learn more about Norton and the history behind Norton, then you can do so by clicking the card in the corner of this screen, or just simply head over to my channel page and watch it there. It's episode 5, I believe. The history behind Norton is very interesting in my opinion, and I do love to create small stories behind what I build in this series. Most of Norton history is actually written by one of you in the comment section down below of one of my videos. I just added a little small things here and there to sort of, help fill in the gaps maybe, but most of the story was written by one of you guys. So the stories in Boulder Cove are totally up to you. You can write stories about what I'm building or write stories about stuff that I might add in later episodes, and you can of course suggest names to towns, islands, streets, shops, mountains, parks, whatever actually, because you might know this by now, but this series is as much as your series as it is mine. I do say it in every episode, and I say it because I mean it. It's very much true. I'm having a lot of fun building Boulder Cove with all of you, and I love the stories that we're creating right here. So yeah, keep the stories coming. I'll also add that I do read, of course, every story that you send me, and there are stories that you guys wrote in the last episode that I will of course include in future episodes. For example, the story was written about Boulder Cove University, and I was actually thinking about building a university sooner rather than later. I wasn't quite thinking about building it in the next episode, but since one of you guys commented, I thought I might go ahead and do it in the next episode. So yeah, look forward to that one. And in that episode, of course you're gonna build the university, but then I will also include the story written behind it, and maybe add a few things myself as well. Another thing is, I do of course want to include every suggestion that you guys come up with, every story and every name. But let's say I get like 2 or 3 stories in every video, and I have gotten that in the last couple of episodes, I think. But I get 2 or 3 stories, and I take one of those stories and create something out of that in the next episode by using that story. And in that episode I get another 2 or 3 stories in the comic section of that episode, and that might keep going and going, and you sort of see where I'm going with this. It sort of builds up. I get stories that I can't include everyone, and that's a real shame, because I really want to incorporate everything you come up with into Boulder Cove, but I hope you understand that I can't build everything you suggest. I'll try my very best, of course, but I have to choose the things that I sort of want to create myself, and the things that sort of make sense to have here in Boulder Cove, because I want to keep this very much realistic in how the city looks and functions, and of course a realistic story behind it. Maybe in the future I do something similar to what Twodollarstwenty does with his series, and get up a wiki page for Boulder Cove, so that people can write articles, create flags, and of course stories all about what's going on here in this region. Maybe I'll do that in the future, if enough people are interested, of course. Now I hope this doesn't fear you into stop writing stories about this series, in the fear of me not incorporating it into the series. I don't have that many viewers, and the people who commented are usually the same group of people. I almost feel like I know some of you by now, and that's really cool. So most of the stories are added, and most of the stories so far are also incorporated into the series. And if they aren't incorporated right now, they will be in future episodes. For example, the quarry that we built in, I think, episode 4. I haven't spoken about that, but I got suggestions on names and a small story behind that one too. I will try to remember to sort of, maybe in a live portion of the next video, go back to that area and just show you that we actually have a name for this place now. Also, if you want to give this nuclear power plant and water treatment facility a proper name, then please do so, because I don't know how long I can keep calling it for a nuclear power plant and water treatment facility, because that name is way too long and I have to concentrate really much to say it correctly. So yeah, give me a proper name, or maybe just like initials of what it can have a long name, but we just use the initials for it, sort of like that, if you understood what I meant. So yeah, give this building or buildings a proper name, and maybe even write a story behind this. Maybe people protested when the city built this power plant, because it was built in or near a nature reserve, or maybe they used to dump toxic waste into the ocean, which led to fish and stuff like that to become sick or even die, and that again hurt the local fishermen, because if the fish wasn't dead, it had toxic waste inside of it, and it wasn't even useful, which again caused the economy to drop in all of Boulder Cove, because I would imagine that fishing, export of fish would be a very vital part of this economy. But yeah, I'm just throwing out suggestions. You of course are the professionals out here when it comes to writing stories. You're really, really good, and yeah, just I'm about to say go crazy, but keep this realistic, of course. Please. Now, you all probably know this by now, but I usually start off every episode with a time lapse, just like this, and then I go over to some live gameplay, and at the end I'll have some cinematic footage and a before and after shot. I also started writing down timestamps in the comment section of every video, so if you want to just jump to a certain section of the video, you can do so by checking out the pinned comment down below. It should be the very first comment you see when you get down there. I do talk in detail about what I have built in the live portion of the gameplay. I talk about what I built and my thoughts behind it. So I won't include that in this time lapse, but you do get a good idea on what I'm doing if you're paying attention to this video. But if you do have any questions, then go ahead and ask me in the comment section. But if the question is if I have a mods and asset list, then you should first check the description. There you can find the link to the mods and asset collection to the series on the Steam Workshop. It's around 50 mods and assets. Most computers can handle that. If your computer can handle the game fairly well, it can handle 50 mods and assets. It's a very small collection. I would like to keep it that way. I am very inspired by Marble Mountain, this series by Twodollarstwenty. In this, Boulder Cove is inspired by Marble Mountain. Although this is a very much more. I'm not that. I don't need the workshop that much. I don't have that many custom assets as he does. Maybe in the future I'll add a few more, but I would like to keep it at a very, very low amount. And the mods that I do have, they're sort of like a must-have mods. So if you are looking for the fewest amounts of mods that are sort of, everyone must have them, then consider checking the collection out. As I said, I do want to keep this collection as small as possible, because I sort of want to have, I still want to feel like I'm playing the vanilla version of this game right here in Boulder Cove, but maybe a more enhanced version, maybe with a little better graphics and a bit more realistic approach than what you get in the vanilla version of this game. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to achieve, at least. So before the time lapse is over, I just want to tell you that I have a Twitter account, and I use it somewhat actively. I post screenshots there and updates on this series and this channel in total. For example, I posted yesterday that episode 6 won't be uploaded on Friday as usual, but on Saturday instead. So if you follow me there, you would know that by now, and you will know a lot more about this series than if you just are subscribed here on YouTube. And you should also subscribe if you do enjoy what you're seeing here and want to take part of this series in future episodes. This series will be going for a very long time. I am very far away from being finished. This is just the beginning, so do consider subscribing for more content like this. And also click the like button underneath this video if you enjoyed it and want to see more. That's it for this time lapse. Now comes some live gameplay. Enjoy. Alright, so we are back in the live portion of this video. I'm actually recording this prior to the time lapse, so I have no idea what I'm supposed to be talking about in the time lapse. So yeah, I hope it all turned out fine. It probably did. But yeah, this is what we did in this part. I'm gonna stop simulation just for now. So yeah, we got finally some electricity and some sewage and water treatment down in this region. Have no idea if this is gonna be enough or not for the entire region. Right now it's certainly more than enough. We got 2 nuclear power plants, and then we got 2 or 3 it's 2 oil power plants as well. Yeah, and when it comes to water, we got 2 these kinds, and we also got 2 of those for sewage, and then we got yeah, all of these for our water. So yeah, but for now it's certainly enough, and we can finally just stop thinking about all the issues that this caused. The issues of not having any electricity, and But by getting this thing in, we reached some other problems. I'll quickly no, you know what? I'm gonna leave the problems be for maybe later in this video. But yeah, just talking about this nuclear power plant and water treatment facility. I think that's a pretty cool name for it. Used this road. I used to find it and just search for toll, and you can actually just place down the toll booth roads without the toll booth itself, and you can place that down, and yeah, turns out pretty cool. I had to, as you saw in the time lapse, I had to add these ones in myself because they were missing on this side. So yeah, right now we drive normally down here, and then you sort of just pick an open lane, and then once you get close it opens or something. Maybe you show them a pass or something, or maybe they got your driver's license in a database, and it's sort of, there's a camera here that reads the not driver's license, registration number that in front of your car. Yeah, so the camera might read that number and open if you if that number is on their database. And maybe this one's just for guests, so this one opens for all, maybe, I don't know. Lots of parking. I didn't decide to place parking lots on every single parking lot road. Several reasons. Most of these I think are just big open areas of asphalt that, you know, probably a lot of trucks come here, deliver of goods or something, and they need a lot of space to turn around. So instead of forcing them to just use a tiny part of the road, they can use all of it. And you know, since this is sort of rule, you don't quite need you know, markings in these areas usually. And I say usually, people are sort of good enough to just make their own parking lots, or follow you know, sort of parking like unwritten rules, so you don't need the markings, because if you were driving here, you know, where would you first park? Well, if there's no one here, I would probably park over there or on this side, and then the next one would probably park near, like maybe right next to my car or something like that. So it's very usual to have not all parking lots need road markings, so that's sort of usual. But they need road markings if there are like reserved parking lots, and maybe some of these ones do have that. But yeah, these are two nuclear power plants clipped together, so it looks like one building. Don't know how realistic it is with, you know, two, what it is called, like cooling towers, have like two pairs some distance from each other. Not an expert when it comes to how nuclear power plants look or work, but I think they look good. I like having them sort of split apart from each other. This thing is actually, I think it is from the Industries DLC. It's a sneaker factory, and it sort of, you know, it sort of just looks like a very nice extension of this building. And as you know, when it comes to nuclear power, you need a lot of water. So a lot of water that's have been in these cooling towers. Eventually they get pumped out right here, maybe this one as well. So that's what I thought. Well, that was my idea when I made this whole facility. And also added some other types of electricity, just so I had enough, just to be sure. And also added incineration plant. So because the garbage facility is pretty far away from here, so it would be nice to have something on this end too. And some can't quite remember what they're called. What do you call them? Power lines, of course. And some power lines. So maybe this building is where they transform a lot of power into power that can go out on the power line, something like that. They got a lot of barrels for some reason. I think that's a part of the building, right? That's pretty much I had issues when I made this because I wanted this sort of this pool right here. I wanted it to have access to the ocean, so it would pump water from the ocean as well. And I didn't quite think there would be an issue with sewage going out and then back in again, but it actually turned out to be an issue. So in here I have a water source like this. Place it down so it always never runs out, even though I have a lot of water pumps here. It doesn't run out, so it's always a constant water supply. And that means I can just have a simple outlet for the sewage water into the ocean. And also some water towers. Maybe like just storage or something. I don't know. I just thought it could look cool. And I sort of wanted to sort of centralize all, like everything within electricity and water and sewage. I sort of wanted it all to be centralized. We might need another one of these somewhere else on the map, but right now this will certainly do good for many episodes. If I were to create another one, I would probably have it maybe down towards here, towards the edge. Because over here, the main plan is to have just a international train station and just simple farms around it. So it would also make sense to have some sort of water treatment and power plant over there, since it's it makes sense to have it sort of far away from where people live. And this one as well, the closest neighbors are living over here. So I did spend some time on Google Maps just looking at a few nuclear power plants, and what I saw that they were very isolated. They were first of all, they were near the coast. If there was a coast or a big body of water nearby, they would be near the waterfront, always almost, and it would always be pretty far away from any type of neighborhoods and stuff like that. And if there were houses nearby, they would be just small individual houses, maybe like a small farm, or just a shack, or whatever. So yeah, in this case as well. Actually, closest neighbor will be here. Let's do that right now. I was supposed to plop down a house there. Growable house. No, not this one. Let's use yeah, that one. And we got some trees in the middle of this now. No. Yeah. So sort of like their house is like this farm is their house, something like that. But yeah, that pretty much covers the nuclear power water treatment facility. Maybe it just should be called the Norton Nuclear Power Plant and Water Treatment Facility. It's a long name. Might use the initials of all of those words and like call it that. Yeah, but I won't do that right now. What I also added was of course the power lines, and what you often see nearby power lines is like sort of these pathways that sort of goes almost directly beneath it. And these ones are mostly used by like service cars. If there is any issue on the power line, they can just drive along here. This is just a normal path, so you can't drive here. But in real life, they would just drive to the power line where there's an issue, and just fix the issue, and then just drive away. So yeah. And this also could be a nice way a nice path to just walk on a Sunday afternoon. So yeah, people do that as well. Yeah. Oh yeah. Continued this pathway as well. That went through this area on a little park we made in the last episode. So it goes all the way from here, follows the shoreline, and then it goes towards the interchange over here, across the road, sort of meanders through the forest, and then it goes over the highway, right here, and then it just ends up on the other side. So what I thought would be cool if this path could be like a trail that sort of that sort of basically goes from one end of Boulder Cove to the other, like a trans Boulder Cove trail or something. Because I know on I think it's Vancouver Island, they have a trail that goes from one end to the island, like the south tip to the north tip, and that island is huge, so it would take days to walk it, but to have sort of one path that sort of just stretches across the map would be cool. So maybe maybe it should start here, and then we maybe make another city, another small town up like here, or maybe here, and then it sort of maybe it goes around, because I don't think it would be smart to have a pathway across this like over these islands, because there's quite a distance between them. So it'll be a very long footbridge. wouldn't quite make sense. So then the pathway sort of goes through the city, like the main city that will be placed down here. But that's cool too. Yeah, that's cool too. I love the look of these farms. It took me maybe like 15 minutes, and like look at the distance it covers. It went from just being like visible that I have worked on this area till like 5-6 times that area in like 1/10 of the time that I may use to, you know, create Norton. So if you want to fill out your map, then just do this technique and build these farms. But what I did is I placed down houses and farm buildings, like this one, and that creates a lot of traffic. And the interchange or intersection I have isn't suited for a lot of traffic. You can see it backing up here. They're all using one lane, of course, but yeah, it's also a bit of lag here. Yeah, this area is absolutely horrible. I think the only thing I can do is go ahead and remove every single farm building in this area, because as you can see, if I choose to just look at traffic, is it not this one? So let me see what kind of traffic goes on this road right here. You see it's a lot of different ones. Take away pedestrians because that doesn't really matter. And if you also take away private vehicles, yeah, you see that is the city service vehicles. But yeah, just look at the amount of trucks. It's just insane, and this is what I don't like: the unrealism when it comes to traffic and industries, right? In if this was real life, it sort of looked like this, you would probably have maybe a few trucks go through this area, maybe like once or twice a week, or something like that, because they don't need a constant chain of vehicles picking up or delivering goods from these sort of farm buildings. They don't. It's not realistic at all, and it totally ruins. Like, look at this area. Do you think it would be like miles of traffic just trying to get into this area? No, it's of course not. But that's how the game works. So I have to go over this area and remove every single farm building, like barn and silo and whatever, and then this traffic should disperse and should act like normal. It's quite annoying, but yeah, that will be fixed in the next episode. It's time to get some cinematic footage right now. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me just find a good spot to. It's a bit further down. This is nice. I have sort of fallen in love with the mountains in the background. You can probably tell from the last couple of episodes. And also the clouds. Yeah, I do love this project right here, and I hope you do too. But yeah, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.